Ready.
Hello everyone, Koopa here. I'm here with
ChampionNBloom.
and
Periodically 7.
and we're back. We're continuing the trial.
Whoever did is the mastermind, the true killer.
He was killed in the repository, so he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the repository.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body. In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Wait, but me and Sakura were together. Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus!
Wow.
Who are you calling a walrus?
That's so mean.
Anyway, when they were
Hey,
killed
uncalled
bothers
for.
me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi.
The weapon?
Yeah, because I mean, according to the Monokuma file, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right? So if Hifumi was killed in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it. But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around
That
the
was
skull of
smart.
things after all.
Hell yeah, it's packed in there good and tight.
He's right, though. I don't understand it either. The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments. But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue. So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Then...
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right?
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi?
I feel like this is not that hard.
Yeah. Do you know?
Nicholas?
My head's still swimming over the fact that Hifumi was an accomplice. Because I did not see that coming.
What was used to
Oh.
kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer 3? Maybe Justice Hammer 4?
Yeah, now I see it.
They
Now that it's sitting right in front of me.
only gave us one option. So.
How was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it? Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance! Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info!
Well, one thing seems pretty
Yeah.
clear.
I'm looking up that link.
The weapon had to be one of the Justice Hammers. And, that's about it.
But where exactly are we where exactly are we objecting?
Well, I think it's Hero saying you have to be one of the Justice Hammers, right?
Was it just
Okay, the website is real, but the extension is not.
Oh.
We have to figure out how was the culprit?
Darn.
How did nobody? Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5. Let's check out murdergear.com.
Well, one thing's the murder weapon had to be
I
one of
think
the
it's that
Justice...
Yeah?
That's about it.
Is that what we're thinking, Nicholas?
Sorry, I was too busy Googling.
What was used? Was it
We're
just
thinking that we're
maybe
supposed to
Justice
object,
There's no culprit.
with Hero saying no, there's
Check
Justice Hammer.
out murdergear.com.
Well, the murder weapon
sure.
had to be one of the Justice and...
Okay, that works.
No, he's wrong. The murder weapon wasn't a Justice Hammer at all.
I mean, it
No,
was
It
completely
was something completely different.
But, seriously? A different weapon?
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris. But for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean, And the reason
Killer
it had
probably
been
should have
scrubbed
scrubbed all of them to make
was
sure.
most likely because it was used to commit murder. If the hammer got covered in Hifumi blood, of course they'd have to clean it off. I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones, and even some flat mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
And whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him. Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
We did talk about how there wouldn't be any reason for anyone to work together. At least that's what we thought at first, but...
I don't think it's going to be a Spinal's hammer again. I think it's going to be taking someone's
Based on the
statement
rules that
and
have been
choosing
set
something
for
else.
us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
Yeah, so I think it's taking the word two murders and shooting the word impossible.
Yeah.
Based on the rule, even
Makes
if more
sense.
than one, only the one who actually
Yep.
assuming the rule holds true.
That is.
But that only really
In this case, however, there were two murders.
based on the rules, even if more than one, only the one who actually assuming the rule holds true.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward benefit?
It's not that hard of a
The payoff for working
concept,
together.
come on.
Yeah.
The reward that balances
For
out
high
the
schoolers,
risk of
wouldn't
taking
be.
part in a scheme. There's no point in being
Oh,
someone's
whatever, I
accomplice
guess.
if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime. And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents. And
That's
it
what I
only
was
looked
thinking
like
earlier.
one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look.
That's the loophole I was thinking of
A
earlier.
single suspicious individual.
I think
similar weapon
Hifumi
used
actually
in
killed
each
someone,
crime,
though. I think
disappearing
Hifumi actually
bodies.
killed someone, though.
It's true.
By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
But that's just awful. How could anyone be so cruel?
You think so?
Yeah, tell us, Celeste.
Can't help but admire it. Still,
You're
their
completely
choice of
convinced at this point,
accomplice
aren't you?
seems odd.
I am almost completely convinced.
Alright, so we'll vote her off, and then if we're wrong, then you'll be voted off next, correct?
Yeah. I swear
Hey,
to
no, that's not how that works.
I don't care. Or vote me now, but then you vote her afterward. Just kidding.
That's not how it works this time around.
Definitely not.
I'm just messing around. The effort made to convince us the two murderers were the same. That was the main characteristic this time. Kyoko must have noticed that fact from the very beginning, which is why she said not to look at this as a series of connected events, but entirely separate incidents. Kyoko really is amazing, although, when you think about it, she's almost too amazing. Like, it's almost unnatural how good she is at this.
I understand how an accomplice could be involved, but then who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
That's problem numero uno right now.
The true killer manipulated Hifumi to carry out a number of actions, and then in the end murdered him. Let me do one of these real quick. In the debates up till now, the way the case has unfolded, when you consider all that, there's only really one person who seems to fit.
So are we putting our finger at Celeste?
I guess.
Oh, we're doing it?
She's the one I'm most confident in right now.
Yeah? Like
Yeah.
It says genocide kill.
Not so though. That's kind of funny. Alright, let's do
Here's
it.
my answer. It was Celeste.
Ah, so I'm the suspicious individual now, am I? I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke? I wonder.
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him, that I would go within 10 feet of that shit from brains, that lazy, worthless, goddamn idiot! Pardonnez-moi.
Just to
Oh, her accent slipped.
That was an accent disappearance there for a second.
Is that so?
I think. Sound like it.
Throughout
Where's
the
your towel?
investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
I'm screaming.
I did a lot of screaming out.
Dang it. You didn't say anything though.
Encountering the suspicious individual.
Oh, that's right.
True.
Yep.
The behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit.
So he wasn't drugged at all. He was just
The only ones
blamed.
who ever actually saw Robo Justice firsthand were...
Shush. The adults are talking now.
Sorry.
As he said,
Ow.
only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the
She's so rude.
costumed individual.
Was rude and
If we
uncalled for.
accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct? And not too long after
Like, I'm
that,
almost
you
confident
remember
it's
what
Celeste. I just
said.
can't nail down a motive at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has no
I
need for
saw a
money.
shadow. Something moving around at the top of the stairs.
We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen. Next, to draw us all to the physics
You
lab
noticing
up
that
on
she
the
was the
third
one
floor.
controlling a lot of the events is something that I hadn't noticed when going through it. But if I had noticed it, then yeah, I would have come to the same conclusion. But I actually, at this point, I wasn't even 100% sure. Like, I was still thinking maybe they could have done what they did in the previous ones and thrown a third person at us all randomly. But given that you did notice that she was the one pointing us around a lot, it does make sense that you'd come to this conclusion.
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
And when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him, the strange costumed man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was walking the stairs, so he headed further down to the hallway and disappeared.
Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
Huh?
What was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been...
Hifumi, he's in the nurse's office. This is bad. Come on, we have to go back.
It was to get us to divide into two groups. So that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
Then why don't we split it into 2 groups? I'll lead the hunting party. That seems much more interesting. Very well, then Makoto and Hina, you come with me to the nurse's office.
Okay, so she was the one who did that. I thought I
I'll
remember it
lead the
being someone
capture of
else.
the suspicious individual to Toko, Byakuya, and Sakura.
Yeah.
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on. That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the 3rd floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
Wasn't really
I
that
just
loud.
realized another strange thing. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead,
I certainly was not expecting this. I did not imagine that Hifumi would be murdered.
Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
Awesome.
I don't believe it. Everything. The whole thing was one big act.
And then she even took Hina into the restroom so that
You
so that he could
always
move.
said Hifumi's body
True.
disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kind of
I was
sick.
right, I was right, I was right, I was right, I was right.
Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed.
Real quick, save.
Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but
Me neither.
looking back, I can say that that one little
I
slip
think I know
up
exactly
was
what
your
you're referring to, and I didn't catch it the first time either, but I caught it this time.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
We must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. We're all going to die here. We're going to die just like those guys died.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
But I don't understand what's so strange about it.
She wasn't aware that Taka had died too.
Sakura, Toko,
Yeah, right?
and I were first to discover
No, she
Taka's
was
body
aware.
in the equipment room.
We just didn't know that.
Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed. So Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the 4 of us headed to the nurse's office. Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I didn't notice it the first
I see
time.
what you're talking
She never
about.
actually went in and saw that
Although I
Taka had
don't
been
really
murdered.
get what it means.
Because we ran into her in the hallway right out of there.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
Thoughts?
Yaki has said that Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. What is he alluding to?
Oh, come on.
All I said was... They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious.
It's obvious, but I don't know how to do it.
About Celeste's comment.
Oh, there we go. Take all of those guys and shoot it at So Strange.
Or that or the other way around, so strange, and those guys.
Enjoying.
I'm gonna stick with mine on this one.
Okay.
They must be. We are all going to
Yeah, we'll go with that one.
die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to... What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
Nope, it was the other way around.
It was the other way around.
I spy a contradiction.
I spy a contradiction.
We are going to die. And that is
And that's all it takes to finish it. What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
all I said. They must really enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are going to die. Just like the.
No,
Yeah.
it's wrong.
I knew that it was the other way around.
Goodbye, Celeste.
That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died. When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Dots.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall. So there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
So how did you know, Celeste? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
Dots.
You all have such vivid imaginations. You know that?
Imaginations.
You claim that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious person I saw. Then what about the picture I took? How do you explain this picture of the costumed villain dragging Hifumi away?
It has to be some kind of setup, right? So let's put the suit on, and then she used the
That's a
camera
pretty-
timer to set up the picture.
Have you so quickly forgotten? You are the only one who could have possibly fit into that suit.
Besides, the camera didn't have a timer
Plus,
anyway.
I happen to
Yeah.
know that this particular camera
Yeah,
does not have a
we
timer.
had commented on that initially.
In other words,
Yeah.
it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away. If every
What if there was no one in the
was
suit?
a lie, how can this picture exist?
Simple. Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
What could you possibly mean by that?
Surely there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
No, there is no other explanation.
Other explanations? If it wasn't a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away, the only other possibility is,
They had been drinking.
or they're dancing.
Hifumi is dragging the suspect away?
I got it! It's not
Or
a picture
pushing,
of the
more like.
suspect dragging Hifumi away.
To be grabbing and carrying and pulling.
I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility. The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around.
The other thing I find kind of concerning about this is the idea that she
When
didn't
the
actually
strange
get hit in the
costume
head.
might only
She just
exist
fell
when it
over,
is a stray
but she passed out for a full hour. That doesn't
Yeah.
make any
Yeah.
sense.
Well, the thing that I thought was weird initially was, so the person came in and knocked her out,
But didn't
but just left her there and didn't just
Yeah, that
didn't
doesn't
just
make
finish the
any
job.
sense either.
Plus, when did she take that picture? If she was knocked out, was
Yeah.
it just while she was fading from consciousness?
I- of course
In which
it
case,
was.
why was the picture from that high up?
Yeah.
It looks like it wasn't
Yeah.
like looking up at them.
Mhm.
If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
That's what happened. You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this.
Such a thing is utterly impossible. Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
Celeste thinks she can prove that there's no way Hifumi was dragging the suspect away. I'm just gonna do that real quick. I don't remember when the last time I did it was. Probably pretty recently. But is that really possible? I like this version of the song.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out. Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight. You tried to make me look like the bad guy.
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, The suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
Then the fortune-telling idiot is the culprit after all!
No way!
I like how in the noise, the purple parts, sometimes you can't tell who's saying it, but other times you can totally tell who's saying it. It's really good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it couldn't bend it the way so it couldn't have fallen over.
So which thing are we, which one are we
So
doing?
the cost.
I kind of want to look at this, can we?
Yeah. What was it? The message.
The message just says meet in the dining hall. The blueprints, which we're finding in Yasuhiro's room, have the arms been like this?
I'm gonna
And
say it's the costume.
costume, known by Yasuhiro, could have possibly been this costume condition, and anyone wearing it would not be able to see their feet or bend their waist more than 90 degrees.
So we're agreeing it's that?
Okay.
Ridiculous.
Yep.
As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way
Here.
they could stand
There.
up straight like that. No, it's wrong.
I'm not 100% sure I see what it is.
She's claiming that if they were
No.
unconscious, they would be
Even if
slumped
the
over because
person
they're not
inside
holding
the
up their
suit
own
were
weight.
unconscious,
Oh,
But
yeah.
if
they
the
could still
suit
stand
is
up like
stiff,
that.
Right,
then
yeah.
they would be,
That makes sense.
even if they were unconscious.
Yeah, I'm
Because
done.
that Robo Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
Yeah, they repeat a lot of.
It seems like pretty obvious oversight.
Yeah, they repeat a lot of
That's right. They
um,
totally made a mistake when they made it.
flashbacks
So it
in
couldn't
this
bend at the
this
waist.
trial.
I'm not so sure that was a mistake. I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Celeste
that's
and
big
Hifumi
difference.
took the suit they'd specially
Yeah.
designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
Ooh,
Well
that's
then,
a sound.
I suppose this is checkmate.
Checkmate?
Don't make me laugh, you idiot! What do you mean, checkmate?
Celeste?
Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one little problem.
Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying?
Hey, Fumi, who was it? Who attacked you? Who tried to kill you? You killed me? That's right, I remember their name. Yasuhiro.
When we asked
We already know he was an accomplice.
quite clear, was it not? He said, and I quote, Yasuhiro.
In other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!
Right! But my name isn't really Yasuhiro! It's actually Taro!
Your confusing statements don't make any sense.
It's definitely not.
You're only making things more complicated.
He did say Yasuhiro, but are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro? What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
Think back to
So
how
that's your name?
Hifumi used to talk to us. How did he refer to each of us?
He said for serious a lot.
That's true.
Did he
What is
say
it?
everyone's last name?
Did he?
I don't remember.
Well, we have 2 minutes.
He didn't give everyone nicknames, I don't think. I don't think the last one makes sense in the current context. I'm gonna go with he said people's last names.
Yeah, Hero's the one who
Yeah.
said for sure a lot.
Yeah, Hero's the one that says for
Our
serious.
last names. He called us all by our last name.
Yeah, remember he would say Mr. Ishimaru and Miss Maizano
I
and
know
stuff
I
like
did
that.
say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example. So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, his first name. Indecent?
Don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't that a
Thank you,
convenient
Byakuya.
explanation? No, there's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than normal. But he must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone here.
Well, no. Hold on. There's one person it could apply to, and that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name is.
What did you just say? To think you'd take your false accusation so far, I don't know whether to laugh or spit! Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather! Yasuhiro is a loser's name! Do I look like a loser to you? Well, do I? What?
Yes.
I think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
Okay, then fill us in. What's your real name?
Make sure your ear holes are wide open and listen up! My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again?
Celeste still won't give up, so then, I have to do something to make her accept it. He knows it. Do you know it?
To tell us something.
Show us what your
my
handbook, show us what your
God.
handbook says. Show us what your handbook says.
If there's one person here who might have that
Oh my gosh.
It would have to be you.
Show us what your
Told anyone what
show us what your handbook says, Celeste.
How many times do I have to tell you? My name is Celestia Ludenberg! God damn it!
It's upside down.
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since you have no way to contradict me,
Yeah, there it is.
there is! Moron!
There it is.
Freaking spoon
And this
feeds
is
you
what,
without.
and this
this
is why
point,
she
yeah.
said the e-handbook came in handy.
Yeah.
It all
Probably
comes
not related to
together.
this case. I'll just put in our evidence just in case.
Break it, that's even better.
Oops, I didn't mean to do that.
Chance,
I,
Only truth there is!
Chance, why have you done it?
I pressed the wrong one. Okay, we
How
stopped at
could you
3.5
do-
Wanted
minutes.
us to know the killer. If there's one person,
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
you select how many times.
I'm very
Okay,
worried
it's
about
quickly
it.
turning into 3 minutes.
How long do you plan?
I'm not pretending. And since you have no way to contradict me,
No, that's wrong. That's it. The handbook.
Real quick.
what?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up, right? Monokuma told us all about it.
But she just
before.
happens to have the same last name as another character's first name. It's a
Yeah,
little bit
that
weird.
one you have to just kind of suspend
You know.
your fun, but... Are you gonna
That's
do the
you.
thing?
This handbook is absolutely vital to a healthy school life, so don't lose it. When you start out, it will display your name. Always make sure you have the right one. Now, this is not your everyday notebook. It has so many more uses than that.
They didn't really need to put
I don't know
that.
why
All
that
you have
last
to do is
sentence
check
was
the
important, but
handbook,
whatever.
and that'll clear up everything. That's how we can find out Celeste's real name.
Unless it would just say.
Invasion of privacy. I
Yeah, you're not
refuse to
getting
cooperate.
away with that one right now. That's not happening.
Celeste, can you please just tell us what really happened? Please, just tell us.
Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up. Because until the game's over, you never know what might happen.
Fine then. Let me settle it. Let me go over the case again.
Let's do the thing, guys.
And shed
It's
some
time to
light
do the
on
thing.
everyone.
My favorite part.
And that'll bring everything to an end.
This is my favorite part. I really like the music in both this part and the part where it actually shows.
Focus. Okay, well, let's see what our options are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, these.
Start over here.
There's him pushing a thing. There's holding an 8-ball, I guess. A backpack. A camera. A bag of potato chips. A hammer with blood on it. A Justice Hammer 4 with blood on it. Just Hammer 2, 3. Hero standing there holding his head. A watch. Him standing there.
I would guess him standing there goes there first.
Makes sense.
That makes sense.
Act 1 was very short.
Huh?
Act 1 was very
Act two.
short.
Evidently, yeah. Act 2 would be Hero walking in? Maybe? No, it's
And
him
yeah,
holding his
getting
head.
Apparently he was drugged.
The poster is back.
Yeah, this one's from the second case. This one's from the first case.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Why?
Because they got a freaking swimsuit poster and they're gonna ask it and they're gonna use it. Gosh dang it. I'm just kidding, I don't know.
Alright.
I assume it's Hero walking in holding his head.
You think so?
Maybe?
Because I don't know what else it would be, unless it's the clock? I don't know.
That's a lot.
The clock.
Oh, no,
showing-
yeah, there was another
no,
clock
the
as
other
well.
one.
What time did the clock say? 1.
1 in the morning.
So
They used the clock
we're
for
doing this one, right?
Yes. No.
Oh.
This one?
Clock, I guess. Clock saying what time it is, him walking into the
Yeah.
door, then him holding his head? Maybe.
I guess.
We can always move it later.
That's true. Move on
Yeah.
for now. Yeah, them stuffing him in. And then the photograph. The killer taking the photograph.
Yep.
Yeah, this is Taka looking at his clock. Or his watch, I mean. Which is a
Looking
clock.
at his wristwatch.
Yep. Hammer.
And this was Justice Hammer 4.
Wasn't it? Was it? Yeah. I guess so, yeah. Okay. Showing the camera. Him looking all dizzy. And anime poster. I'm just kidding. Looking all dizzy and potato chips now.
He wouldn't move it right in front of us, so that's out. I don't
I
think
can do this.
any
I
of
didn't
the
even
any of
realize.
the I don't think the first two other than the next two after the clock have anything to do with this.
No, I don't think they are. They're the little jokes. You wouldn't have to do with his
Yeah.
backpack, would it? Like they're holding the photo, and then we're walking into the room, and he's getting up after he hit his head. Why
Yeah.
would it show his back with the backpack, though?
Which hammer was he
further down the
supposedly
list?
assaulted with? Which hammer? He was assaulted with number 1, right?
Was
Or
he?
number 2?
I thought Celeste was hit with number 1.
No, Celeste was hit with number 1. He was hit with number 2 the first time in the library.
Yeah.
So put number 2 there.
Okay. Now we're at the nurse's office, and he gets some blood on
Man,
himself.
that looks like the best magical
and
girl
then
transformation sequence.
he does what now?
So that looks like the weirdest magical girl transformation sequence I've ever seen.
Why?
To me, it looks like a freaking. It just makes me think of Bob from Tekken. He just
So
goes,
that's Justice Hammer number 3,
"Speed
because that's what he
and
was supposed to be hit with the second time.
Yeah, he potentially would have put blood on a hammer, right? As well, not just
Yeah,
himself.
he would have had
He would have
to.
had to put blood
Which
on a hammer
one?
too.
Justice
Not
Hammer
the
3.
regular mallet one, the number 3, because the wooden one is going to be for when he actually gets killed. And then 3 different.
We don't put
sets-
anything there.
Yeah, so nothing obviously. The bodies get found.
Yeah.
He's wheeling up the body. Yep, and he pushes it out. Okay, gotcha. And then he's like, "I've been a good boy, yay!" And then he gets slammed.
With the regular mallet.
Yep.
So are we good?
Let's say a look
I think
over.
we're good.
Yeah. So first, It's the two of them shaking hands, it looks like, agreeing that they're going to be doing this. Then it's 1 o'clock. Kira's walking in, and he's like, "Oh, what's happening?" And then gets chloroformed.
Mm-hmm.
They set him up and take the picture. Now it's Taka at 6 o'clock, which I guess this technically happened before the Taka one, but whatever. This happened before the Hero one, technically, but whatever. And then 6 o'clock, and Taka gets...
Well, no, this one is 1 a.m., this one is 6 a.m.
Oh, for some reason, yeah, you're right. For some reason, I had it in my head that it was 1 p.m., not 1 a.m.
No,
My bad.
1 a.m.
In which case, yeah, and then he comes in and slams that hammer, and it's number 4, because you can see it's number 4 on the other panel.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine. Then show him the camera, and they're like, "Oh, look, there he is." And then, "Oh, we gotta go to the library," and he's sitting there in a library with a regular old hammer number 2. And then they take him to the nurse's office where he sets up the evidence.
Yep.
They find his body. And then he wheels the body over. And then he gets hit by a regular hammer, not Justicey at all.
Looks good.
His hammer is not Justicey in the slightest.
Yep. Let's do this.
The killer is
Yep.
Alrighty, let's do it. My only concern is the Justice Hammer. I don't remember the hammer order between 3 and 4, but like who was on what, but whatever. I'm pretty sure this is right. Yeah, they're just such an ugly face.
With an accomplice, the killer was able to execute a number of...
I really like the aesthetic style for the killer.
Yeah.
Being the grayed out NPC character with a really creepy grin and all that. I think it's really, really cool looking.
It's pretty cool.
It's very fitting.
Yeah.
They convinced someone to meet them in the rec room last night at 1 in the morning.
Yep.
That someone they met with was Hero. The murderous duo intended to pass Hero off as the prime suspect. So when they met up with him, they drugged him, knocked him out, and stuffed him into the Robo-Justice suit. Next, Hifumi positioned himself to make it look like Robo-Justice was attacking him, while the killer used a digital camera to take pictures of the assault. They did all this just to create evidence that would put the suspicion on Hero. When they were done with him, they shoved him, still unconscious, into the pool room locker. And then finally, at 6 a.m., they moved into the murder phase of their plan. They called Taka to the equipment room. And that's where Hifumi killed him, making it the scene of the first murder. The murder weapon was Justice Hammer 4, which was left there in the equipment room. The reason Hammer number 4 was used was to create confusion about the order of the crimes. So, next they falsified 2 more assault incidents. For these attacks, the killers pretended to be the victims to solidify Robo-Justice as the suspect. The first fake incident was the attack in the rec room. There, the killers wanted us to see Justice Hammer 1 and the Robo-Justice pictures they'd taken. They wanted to make sure we bought the surprise attack story. The second fake incident was the attack in the library. This time, they planted Justice Hammer 2 and an injured Hifumi to sell us that story. With these 2 incidents, the killers were able to create a certain preconception in our minds that the suspect was increasing the size of the hammers and attacking people in order as they did. We fell right into their trap and started looking for the suspect based on that. But while we did that, we left Hifumi alone in the nurse's office. This was exactly what Hifumi was hoping for. He took a blood packet from the refrigerator and Justice Hammer 3 and turned the room into a crime scene in which he himself had apparently been brutally murdered. He let out a scream to draw us back. And when we returned, that's what we found. Meanwhile, the other group that had been out searching found Taka's body at the same time. So when we heard the body discovery announcement, we naturally assumed it was for Hifumi. We left the nurse's office, and Hifumi once again took advantage of the situation. He simply got up and made his escape. When we learned his body had disappeared, we all rushed back to the nurse's office, and once again, Hifumi had the chance he was waiting for. This time, he snuck into the equipment room. He wrapped Taka's body in a tarp and used the dolly to move it all the way down to the repository. That explains how each of the bodies disappeared. But even Hifumi didn't know what the true killer had in mind for their final act. Their plan all along was to kill Hifumi and get rid of the one person who could betray them. And they did it using an ordinary, everyday hammer from the repository. That should cover everything that happened in this case.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine. They're making out. I'm just kidding.
Celeste,
That's the picture.
sorry, you lose.
How would she have gotten into the art repository room?
Lost?
She probably just knocked and made sure. Yeah, and Hifumi probably just opened the door for her.
Okay, fair enough.
Sorry, Celeste, you took a risky gambit, but you lost.
She did.
When was the last time I was forced to utter such words? They hang heavy around my neck.
Then you admit it? You're the killer?
Listen to you, trying to take charge, as if you're my private instructor. I, Celestia Ludenberg. Actually, no. Taiko Yasuhiro is fine.
Taiko?
So, you finally accepted it.
I'm the kind of person, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag on.
Interesting.
Yes, we
Good
didn't
God,
actually.
that was a headache.
Yeah, so we didn't have to actually do the whole rhythm game thing a second time.
Thank goodness. Money! Well, we have so
Money.
much now.
Okay, Monokuma,
Money.
I'm ready to begin. Or, no. I suppose this is the end, isn't it?
It is indeed the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to vote, okay? Okay. If you would, please locate your lever and cast your vote. And when the votes are tallied, who will become the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadful?
Alright, he does the same thing every time for that one.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of grayed out ones.
It's basically a formality at this point, but once again, you're totally correct. The Blacken this time, the true killer who devised this whole stinking scheme was Celestia Lindenberg, or more precisely, Taiko Yasuhiro.
Honestly.
I lost. Well, that sucks.
You don't need to do a voice
yeah, I don't
anymore.
Need, I don't need to do it. I guess trying to work with someone else was a mistake after all. Hifumi's ineptitude was beyond all my calculations.
I knew it.
So you really did approach Hifumi with this plan. But how did you get him to agree? I can imagine he would have happily agreed. I can't imagine he would have happily agreed to commit murder. I'm sure she relied on her specialty, lying. My specialty? Don't make me laugh. I didn't have to lie to get into it, Gray.
So then,
Then did you use, I knew you'd figure it out, Kyoko. You're absolutely right. to get Hifumi to act as my accomplice.
Indeed.
I used her. For everyone who's still left, I'll avoid mentioning it by name, but it was the one thing Hifumi and Taka were both super into.
Does she mean...
Oh.
Is she talking about alter ego?
Say what?
What? What? What are you talking about?
Just a second.
Don't interrupt. We're in the middle of a very important conversation here.
I'm totally out of the loop, as usual. How sad.
In other words,
Then you're the one who stole it.
Indeed.
That's right.
I see.
And you used it to drag Hifumi into the plan you'd come up with. Right again. Last night, after we had our meeting to see how it had disappeared, I paid Hifumi a little visit. What are you doing here?
Actually,
I was hoping I could talk to you alone. It is about what was stolen. I know who did it.
What?
What?
are you okay
It was
with
Taka. He stole it. What?
this? So
And I have
then-
proof. Would you like to see it? As it turned out, I'd found a use for the digital camera. I'd taken you-know-what to Taka's room earlier and took pictures of it there. I did delete the picture as soon as I'd shown it to Hifumi, of course.
Damnation!
So it was him. But how did he do it? She was supposed to yell if either of us got close to her. You are correct, which is why Taka forced me to steal it.
Say what?
What?
As for me,
Please forgive me. He threatened me.
Oh.
He did.
as for
He
me,
came to my room last night unannounced, and then it's hard for me to even say. He abused me. Oh snap!
What?
Get into this guy's head, and he took pictures. He said if I did not do as he asked, he would show them to everyone. So I had no choice. That's a
Damnation!
crime, an absolute crime.
It's kind of hard to believe that the moral compass would do that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, he already,
I mean, I knew he got a little crazy, but
Say what?
I didn't imagine he would go that far.
Yeah, and he wouldn't.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't. It was amazing how completely he bought it. I can't express how enjoyable that was. I'm about to say something I never said before in my life. I want to kill him. I'm going to
Unforgivable.
freaking kill him.
most
Wait,
unfortunate.
please. If you go now, you'll be playing right into his hands. Huh?
Actually,
Taka is planning to use her to escape. And he has made you his target.
What?
Escape? You don't mean... Taka is going to try to kill you.
Let go.
What?
indeed.
And all he can do to keep her... And all so he can keep her to himself. That jerk. Jerk.
Honestly,
Okay. Can we allow him to continue with these barbaric acts? Absolutely not. How could I? She...
I swear
I have to
will
save her! Okay. Then, would you like to join with me? It is just so happens I have come up with a plan. Huh? I've devised a way to reclaim what he has stolen and escape this dreadful school. Hee. And with that, it is complete. Huh? What are you talking about? Oh, nothing. Hifumi agreed without a second thought. The effect that item had on him was remarkable. The power of love, even a love as twisted as that, can still drive people mad, it would seem. You disgust me.
I see.
I have another question for you. Was that strange costume of Hifumi's creation?
indeed.
Yeah, it was a real pain in the butt, too. All I asked him to do was make something to hide the face and general body size. I had no idea he'd make something like that. But it's my fault for picking him in the first place.
But
So, why'd you decide to make me the suspect? Because you're stupid. That's it.
Let's see.
In that regard, I made the right choice. I'm so glad your stupidity surpassed my every expectation. Life must have been tough on your parents, though. I feel like I could cry.
Well,
But when you were explaining your plan to Hifumi, how did you explain the part about him playing dead? What she's asking is, what was Hifumi supposed to do after that, assuming you would actually let him live?
Are you okay with
That's
this?
simple. After he did his part of pretending to be dead, once Sun showed up, I told him to say he'd been seriously wounded, he was on the verge of death, but he just barely held on. And he really believed that? Well, of course. that wasn't all there was to it. As I explained to Hifumi, the plan was, while you were all questioning him about what had happened to him, I was going to murder someone else. At that point, Hifumi would have an alibi, so nobody could doubt him. I told him that, and he believed it. It all seems very straightforward, stereotypical. I just matched the lie to the level of the opponent. In fact, Hifumi ate it up. He believed the lie wholeheartedly right up till the moment of his death.
So in the end...
So he had planned to kill him all along. But of course, there would have been no point in my plan if the one who pretended to be dead did not end up dead himself.
What the heck?
How can human life mean so little to you?
Well,
That's a non-issue. I simply did everything in my power to win.
Don't be mean.
Now you sound like Yakuya.
I wonder
No,
about
he
that.
derives his pleasure from the thrill of the hunt. In that aspect, we are nothing alike.
Why?
Then, what made you take things this far?
What the heck?
Is it really
What's the
just for
motive?
money? I'm talking about the $10 million Monokuma offered us. That is a lot of money, it's true. But that's not all there is to it. From the moment our new life here began, my only thought has been escape. But all along you've been saying how we have to accept living here. Obviously that was a lie. Yeah,
Hey!
I couldn't take it. I hated it from day one.
Yeah, that was just her poker
More than
face.
anyone else in here. I wanted
Yeah,
to get out.
there's me.
Every day
Yeah,
was fresh.
that was just her poker face the whole
Of
time.
course. And do you want to know why, huh?
This is fine.
Because I had a dream, and accepting a life here would have meant nothing less than giving up on my dream forever.
Honestly.
And there was no way that I could ever do that. In the underground world of gambling, I risked my life to make a metaphoric killing,
As for me,
and it was all for that dream.
And what was this dream of yours?
isn't it wonderful?
To live in a European castle.
A castle?
And to gather handsome men from all over the world to serve as my butlers / bodyguards. I was going to make them dress up like vampires to satisfy my every need. Once I obtained that, I would have created the perfectly aesthetic world of decadence.
This is fine.
Living the rest of my life there was my only dream, my only goal. That's really weird, but okay. That's what life is all about. That's super weird, but okay.
Yeah.
Combined with my own winnings, Monokuma's $10 million would have made that dream a reality. I got right to the edge, but
There is nothing
unfortunately my dream has been scattered to the wind. Still, I don't have any regrets. I pursued my dream to the very end, so why would I?
Yeah, so there was her motive.
Just the worst.
You sound
Her
There we
motive
go. That all
wasn't-
ties up in
Her
nicely.
motive wasn't exactly the money, but the money
It was
certainly
related
helped.
to the money.
It was just to get out. That was really her motive, but the money helped.
You sound so passionate, but you were really able to kill your own friends for it?
Oh,
You asking me to feel guilty? That's a pointless endeavor. I think nothing of sacrificing others to my own ends. I feel nothing.
do you understand?
That's all there is to me. That's what makes me complete. It's terrifying how different our values are. Isn't it terrifying how different our values are? There's simply no room for understanding.
What is this?
That's what we should be saying. And plus, how can you be so calm? Don't you realize you're about to die? Why aren't you scared? My ability to lie is unrivaled, and I take pride in that. It's not just other people. I can even fool my own emotions. The conscious deceives the unconscious. And that's why...
And that's why you're not scared?
Yes.
That's right.
indeed.
I don't fear death. Kill me however you like. But you know, if I could be reincarnated, if I had a choice, then
Isn't it wonderful?
I think I would like to come back as Marie Antoinette. That's not how reincarnation works. You just get executed again. That's true.
Celeste smiled then, and when she did, it looked to me like a poor effort to force it. She claimed she could fool her own feelings, but that statement itself, it must have been her final lie. And that weak fake smile is what betrayed her.
Chills!
You all done? Okay then, let's get rolling. The black and disturbed beast and must pay the price.
Now then, I prepared a very special punishment. Let's
For her, the ultimate gambler.
Yeah.
It's punishment time!
I'm interested to see what this will
You'll
be.
go hold on to this. What?
This is...
Will it really give you the hope you're looking for? I can't say I ever saw it that way. Which is why... Actually, it's not important. Well then... Take care, everyone. Perhaps we'll meet again. In another life.
Alright, here it comes.
Here it comes.
So you know how all the other ones are themed off of whatever their talent is?
Yes.
This one's not completely themed off of her talent.
The burning of the Versailles witch.
It's more themed off of her personality than her talent.
And her desire.
And her desire.
Which, this is just horrible.
Yeah.
Being burned alive is horrible.
Yeah, it's terrifying. That'd be one of the worst ways to go in my mind.
Yeah.
It's right up there with being buried alive, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, however I go, I want it to be painless.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that scares me most about death, is just...
What?
Yeah.
Oh, fire truck. Oh.
Good job, you did it.
It's like that one image of Pikachu with a watering can while the two water types are using a hydro pump or something to put out a fire.
Yeesh.
It's over.
Those things are horrible.
The third execution is over. Celeste's death is over. Celeste killed my friend, so I can't pity her, but I also can't deny that at one point I considered her a friend too. And for him to just come along and...
Isn't it just awful? Someone couldn't put free of the regrets from the outside world, and so more people had to die.
Extreme!
You guys are still young. You didn't place more value on your lives.
What are you gonna do?
Jeez, and here I thought you guys were gonna pass the torch of hope to the next generation.
Who would care about hope? I'll throw it in the trash if you just let me out of here.
Too bad.
You're all the embodiment of hope, whether you like it or not. And it's my destiny to knock you down one by one. It's sad, yes it is. But that reality just can't be avoided.
Don't talk like you're not responsible. How long are you gonna make us keep going through this? What do you want from us?
God, I'm so sick of people asking me that. Give it a rest already. So anyway, Kyoko, did I see you get some kind of key type object from Celeste?
Hey! Hey!
So, what's the deal with that?
Dots.
What?
Huh? What's the matter?
So then,
I'll answer your question if you answer mine.
you...
What did you do? What did you do? What did you do to me?
Ooh.
What?
Hey,
Answer me. What did you do to my body?
Ooh. How exciting.
Oh man. Oh man, oh jeez. Oh man, oh jeez. What do you mean, what did I do? I have no idea. I don't know anything about it.
Dots.
What was that just now? The mastermind did something to Kyoko's body? What does that even mean?
Hello.
Okay, things are getting kind of awkward. I think it's about time I got out of here.
Well,
Meanwhile, you guys can go on enjoying your school life. If you get lonely, give me a shout. Not that I'll do anything about it, of course.
see ya later.
Toodles!
Monokuma disappeared, leaving us all depressed and in despair. Although it wasn't all despair, there was one small hope. Hey Kyoko, Monokuma already mentioned it, but... what's that key that Celeste gave you?
so...
Most likely. It's the key to one of the dressing room lockers.
Huh?
What? Then that means... Celeste probably hid it in there.
Hey,
I suppose sometimes it's easiest to miss what's right beneath your nose. Well then, we better go check.
Indeed.
Good idea.
We left the courtroom and rushed to the dressing room. As we approached the dressing room, Kyoko looked back at us and said,
Hey,
I'm going to go on alone from here. Everyone else, head to the dining hall. I'll check in with you later.
What?
Why exactly are you going alone?
so...
Do you even have to ask?
As she spoke, she glanced quickly at the surveillance camera.
Come on.
That's not what I meant. Why you? there's still the risk of there's still a risk of a spy, you know. Dots.
Then I'll go too.
What?
You,
Please, let me go.
Dots. Standing here arguing, you're just gonna draw more attention to us.
Goodbye.
Do whatever you want.
Thank you, Byakuya.
Then it's up to you now.
Yo!
I'm gonna go to the dining hall, okay? Huh? So Makoto and Kyoko are gonna go together? Haha, does that mean what I think it means?
Okay.
Good luck, Makoto. Girls like her are total pushovers when you show a little backbone. Sure.
I tried to forget what he said. Everyone headed to the dining hall, leaving me and Kyoko there alone.
Shall we
Jeez.
go?
Well, shall we?
Yeah.
So then,
We need to get into that locker.
Kyoko took the key Celeste had given her and unlocked the locker. And as the locker swung open, we saw...
Good morning. Huh? It's been a while, hasn't it? It's safe. Thank goodness.
I'd never heard Kyoko sound so relieved. It was like she was speaking from the bottom of her heart.
I did just what Celeste asked. I didn't say a word. I stayed quiet the entire time. Oh, and I think I might be able to open the last set of files soon, maybe as early as tomorrow. I'm doing my best, so please just wait a little longer. So now we can officially say the case is closed.
As far as this incident is concerned, sure, but... Can we take a second? Since we have this opportunity, I want you to be honest with me.
Thoughts?
Kyoko, please tell me, what are you trying to do all on your own here at the school?
Is that why you wanted to come here with me?
however,
Regardless, not something you need to know right now.
I don't need to know? That just makes me more worried.
what?
Worried?
Like what happened during the investigation this time. You disappeared and we didn't see you again. Without warning, without explanation. When you do that...
Indeed.
It's only natural they think I'm the mastermind spy, right? And you too.
No. I believe in you.
What?
You believe in me?
Isn't it obvious? People believe in their friends, right? That's why I want you to tell me. And I want you to believe in me too. Because we're friends.
Thoughts? I understand.
It's true.
Then maybe I can believe in you. Just a little bit more.
Then...
That's fine.
Fine, I'll tell you. I'll tell you why I've been disappearing and where I've been going. You see...
What I heard from Kyoko then was... Well, frankly, it kind of blew my mind. Right after I'd told Kyoko I believe in her, she told me a story that was, well, almost unbelievable. I decided I had to confirm what she told me with my own two eyes, so I waited for nighttime to come. And when it did, I went into action. I think that seems like a pretty good place to stop. How long have we been recording? Yeah, you're about the point where you need to go, aren't you?
Yep.
If it weren't for that, I would have continued. I would have wanted us to continue because we're not technically at the end of the chapter yet. But we can leave that for next time.
Yeah.
Since
Alright.
ChampionNBloom needs to go.
This seems like the most devilish of cliffhangers, so...
Yeah,
Yeah.
have to. Sorry. Gotta do it. See you next time.
Bye!
Bye.